Hello, everybody. I am yelling out. I know many of you right now can't talk because you're muted. And the reason for that is we have a very special presentation today. We have a Film Challenge sponsor that is a key partner for the Film Challenge and really for the disability community in IMDb Pro. And today we're really going to get a chance to learn how to market ourselves. We're going to go through and talk about the films. Their Film Challenge films will be spotlighted, their Film Challenge pages. And ultimately, we're really going to be able to utilize IMDb Pro and IMDb search capabilities. And at the end, we're going to have time for Q&A. But this is going to be a really in-depth discussion. So make sure to hit the chat box if you have questions, because we're going to get to those at the end. And that's going to be the easiest way for us to get through all of those questions. As you can see, you could hit the live transcript, and the instructions are there for if you would like to have a full transcript or to be able to see what is happening in real time. And then beyond that, who's ready to get this going? Before we do, I want to give one more special announcement. At the end of this workshop, we have an amazing thing that we have some Amazon gift cards that we're going to be giving out for really fun trivia. So we got 5 separate $25 Amazon gift cards that we're going to be giving out. The first gift card that we're giving out is going to go to the first person that asks a question that we're going to answer in the Q&A. And then we're going to have other Easter Seals and Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge trivia. So without further ado, I am just so unbelievably grateful and privileged that we have this amazing workshop to teach people with disabilities how to market ourselves, how to utilize IMDb Pro. We are really and truly honored to have Jed Sherman-Jones, who manages IMDb Pro's team that talks to the industry guilds, the unions, and organizations to answer questions and further be able to understand IMDb Pro. So without further ado, I am going to turn this over to Jed Sherman-Jones. Where are you, Jed?
Hey, I'm here. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you everyone for attending, and thank you for having me. So yeah, we're going to spend some time today diving into IMDb Pro, talking about the features and talking about how you can best promote yourself and your work on IMDb Pro. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Hold on one moment while I
be able to
do that. Hold on. Sorry for the technical difficulties. All right. I think I am now sharing my screen. You should now see a PowerPoint presentation. I did it. Great. Okay, so first I wanted to go over the agenda for the items that I'm going to talk about today. So at the beginning, I'm going to briefly go through a presentation that talks about what IMDb Pro is. We'll talk about some features with IMDb Pro, and then I'll talk about the difference between imdb.com and IMDb Pro, because I get those questions a lot, and give you some terms that we'll be using so you can understand what I'm talking about when we dive into the demo and the features. And then for the majority, I'm going to be jumping into IMDb Pro itself and showing you the different features. I'm going to be going over a lot of content, and I'm going to be moving pretty fast. So if you feel like you can't keep up, that's okay. I'm going to be sharing a follow-up email after that will have links, and we'll go over all the items I talked about. Also, I'll share this deck. You can go back and you can, if there was a topic you wanted to dive a little deeper into, you'll be able to do that on your own. Then once we're done with the demo and the features, we will move to our questions, where if you put your questions in the chat, we will answer them. Well, I will answer them, and maybe Nick will help me for some. And then Nick will help me with giving out some Amazon gift cards. So we'll have some trivia that was mentioned before, which should be fun. And then at the end, like I said, you'll get that follow-up email so you can dive a little bit deeper into any of the items you wanted to do so with. So let's begin. So the first thing is, if you don't have an IMDb Pro membership, you can start one at any time. You get a 30-day free trial. So if you're not sure if IMDb Pro is right for you, you can create an account and try it for 30 days. You can go over the different things I talked about. and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, just cancel that membership before the 30 days are up. And if you did get any promo code or anything like that, there's a link here for redeeming those promo codes. So yeah, and if you have any promo code, those can be applied annually or monthly. So depending on how you pay for IMDb Pro. So if you've never used it before, this is a great time to try that 30-day free trial. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about, I'm going to be going over a lot of IMDb Pro features. It's helpful to know that we do have an app. This is for phones, this is for tablets, Android, and iOS. So when I'm going through the product, I'll be using the browser version, so when you're on a computer, but most everything that you can do on the computer, you can also do on the phone. So it's helpful to have that app. Keep in mind, though, there is an imdb.com app and an IMDb Pro app. The two are different. I will be going over the differences between the two products and sites. And just remember that if you want to do something that is IMDb Pro related, you should be using the IMDb Pro app. So make sure to download that if you'd like to use it. The next is if you do have an IMDb Pro membership, you get a free Amazon Chime account. That is a video conferencing tool, very similar to Zoom that we're using right now. You get a premium subscription for free if you have IMDb Pro. So that means you won't have any limit to how long your meetings are. You can invite a bunch of people on. So I know hopefully we're nearing the end of this pandemic, but I think we all will still need video conferencing. So if you do need a premium service one, just remember you can use Amazon Chime if you have IMDb Pro. And then another benefit of having IMDb Pro, you can receive 40% off Dropbox Plus. So if you do use Dropbox for storing your videos, sharing your videos, Reels, things like that, you can get a discount. So if that's of interest to you, check that out as well. And then lastly, before I jump into what IMDb is, IMDb Pro does have customer service. There's a link here. There will also be a link in the follow-up email. I'm going to hopefully teach you how to use IMDb Pro, and you'll be able to do everything on your own. But in the case that you can't, or you do run into an issue after that, please take advantage of our customer service team. They do a great job, and they usually get back to you within 24 hours, 7 days a week, excluding the holidays. So yeah, that's a great resource for you if you need help, even after this, if I wasn't able to get you to resolve any of your issues. Take advantage of that. Okay, so now let's get into the meat of this presentation. What is IMDb? Why are we here? IMDb stands for the Internet Movie Database. The B is lowercase because database is one word. And it's the world's most popular and authoritative source for movies, TV, and celebrity content. So anything that has to do with entertainment, most likely you can learn about it on IMDb. And a fun fact, well, before I give you the fun fact, I'll end with that. It also serves as a resume for those in the entertainment industry. So if you've used IMDb, if you've ever done an internet search about a filmmaker, an actor, or a film or a TV show, you've probably been to an IMDb.com page. For those in the entertainment industry, because it's such a robust and authoritative source, and it works as a resume for people. And you should use it as a resume for you as well. That's what I'll be teaching you how to do. So that's what IMDb is. And a fun fact, it's older than the internet. We celebrated 31 years this year. Our founder, Carl Needham, he is a huge movie fan, entertainment fan. He wanted to create a database to keep track of all the information of people that worked on movies. And so he started it on his computer before the modern internet. A few months later, the internet came to be, and he moved it onto the internet. So the fun fact, IMDb is older than the internet. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the difference between IMDb.com and IMDb Pro. Now there's a lot of confusion about this. I get a lot of questions about this. So on this page, I have provided two Zendaya name pages on IMDb. So if you look at the one on the left, that is the IMDb.com page. Now, the way to think about IMDb.com is that it's free for anyone. If you do an internet search, like I mentioned before, you go to a page, and it's built for entertainment fans. So this is for anyone that wants to settle a bet on who is that person in that movie, who made that film. If someone has checked out the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, and they say, I want to check out more about this film, they can do that on IMDb.com. Now on this imdb.com page for Zendaya, you can see that it has lots of pictures, there's ads, there's all kinds of stuff. That's because it's the entertainment fan. It's free. It's for those people that want to learn more about the entertainment. Now on the right side, you see Zendaya's page again, but this is IMDb Pro. So you can see that it has the same picture of Zendaya, has the same bio, it's got a similar filmography, but it's not as busy. There aren't as many ads, videos, things like that. That's because IMDb Pro is for industry professionals, those that are working in the industry, or making film, making TV. Now, you'll learn that there's a lot of similar things on each page. IMDb Pro has all of the same information that imdb.com does, but it has more. So it has contact details, it's in development projects information. It's things that are relevant to those that work in the industry, those that are making movies. And so for that reason, it is not free for IMDb Pro. You do have to have a membership and you need to have a login to get in. Now, the two are similar. IMDb Pro has more information, but they're also connected. So you as an IMDb Pro member can go in and claim your name page and say, this is me, and you can make updates to your page. I'm gonna show you how to do those. And when you make those updates, those changes will also fly into imdb.com. So if you see at the bottom of this page, I have a little arrow going from IMDb Pro to imdb.com. You can update both pages when you do that. So you're not just updating information for people that might want to work with you or hire you. You're also updating that information for your fans. So that's where IMDb Pro comes into play, and that's where a lot of the benefits of IMDb Pro come from. I will talk a lot about that in just a few moments. Now, before we jump into the actual feature and the product, I want to go over a few terms so that you know what I'm talking about. So on this page, we're talking about the amount of data that we have on IMDb Pro. Now, on the top left of this page, you'll see that we have over 8 million name pages. Now, when I talk about a name page, I'm talking about a person's page. So on the last slide, we had Zendaya. That page was about her, so that is her name page. For all of those that were in the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, those finalists, you have title pages, and then if you have a credit on that, you have a name page. And so, yeah, I'll be talking about that. Whenever I say a name page, I'm talking about that person's page. It might be your page, it might be somebody else's page. Now, on the right of the name pages, we have over 5 million film and television title pages. Now, when I say title pages, we're talking about a project. We're talking about the movie, the television show, the web series, the short film. All of those are title pages. So I won't say movie page, I'll say title page. That's what I'm referring to. So, you know, the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge finalist films, those all have name pages on IMDb Pro. We'll see some of those. Now, in order to have a credit that is verified on IMDb and IMDb Pro, you need to have a name page and a title page. So when you're on that title page for that film, short, TV show, your name will be listed for the role that you fulfilled, and that's your credit. When you click on that name, it will take you to your name page. And then on your name page, all your credits will be listed that link to the title pages. So, you know, the short that you created for the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. So those are the two main pages we'll talk about, name pages and title pages. We also have company pages. Those are exactly what they sound like. They're for companies. So we won't talk as much about those. Those are only on IMDb Pro, but that's what they are. Now, on the bottom of this slide, we have over 300,000 contact details for industry professionals and companies. So these are phone numbers, emails, fax numbers, if you're still using a fax. They could be your personal contact information, or if you are reps, you can put your talent agent or your manager on there. And so we'll talk about how to get that information on there. This information is only on IMDb Pro, though. So it's only for those industry professionals that are working in the industry. Those details are really why people use IMDb Pro. They're going to want to get in contact with you. That's how you let people know how they can reach out to you for potential work or to work together. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit. And then on the bottom right of this page, we have over 25,000 projects in development. Now, these are things that have not been, that are not in post-production yet or have been released yet. So those pages, if something's in development, pre-production, there will be a page, but only on IMDb Pro. Now, there are a few exceptions to this rule, and those are going to be films that are very of a lot of interest for fans. So something like the next Marvel movie or the next Fast and the Furious movie, because fans are so interested in that, those will have some in development pages on imdb.com. For the most part, they'll only be on IMDb Pro. And so if you have something that's in development that you want to have in your resume, you can put that on IMDb Pro so people can see it. Okay, so those are some of the terms that we'll be talking about. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before we get into the features is, where does IMDb get its data? So we're the largest, most authoritative database for entertainment. So we get a lot of questions about, where did this data come from? And the answer is, we get it from a lot of different sources. So we have a lot of industry partners, you know, the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, production studios, networks. All of those organizations will provide us with data to update. This is really important for them because so many people use IMDb, they want that information on there. But they don't send us all the information. So we know that there will sometimes be gaps in the information that those partners provide to us. So we also allow registered users to submit data as well. So in order to update information that maybe we've missed or needs to be corrected, you need to be a registered IMDb user. So we do have profiles on the people that are submitting data. So you can submit something to get it added to IMDb. But the important thing to know is that we have a whole content team whose job is to make sure that our data is as accurate as possible. So IMDb is not like a Wikipedia where you can just add whatever information you want and then it goes live. Instead, when you're making these contributions or submitting data, our vetting team will have to go through and either approve or reject that information. So it's really important that when you're submitting stuff, that you provide some information as to why this is true. Now, we're going to talk a lot more about that as we get into the actual features of IMDb. But the one thing to keep in mind is that our content team, the gold standard is on-screen credits. So if you can provide an on-screen credit or link to that, they're going to use that to say, hey, this is factual. Now, we know that not all roles are credited on screen, so we can provide uncredited credits on IMDb. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but just remember that the best way to get something on IMDb and to get it approved is to provide on-screen credits. And then for IMDb Pro members, only IMDb Pro members can submit the data that is related to IMDb Pro, so the development or contact details. So we will talk a lot more about the content team and getting content approved as we go on, but just thought it was important for you to know. Okay, so I've done a lot of the background talk. We now know what IMDb is, we know what a name page is, we know what a title page is. I'm now going to start talking to you about what you can do on IMDb Pro to help advance your career and promote yourself. So for this portion of the presentation, I'm going to do a slide like this. I'm going to go over the items we're going to cover, and then I'm going to jump out of this PowerPoint presentation and go into IMDb Pro itself. So the first thing we're going to talk about is claiming and optimizing your name page. Now, like I said, a name page is a page that's focused on a person. If you have a credit on IMDb, you most likely already have a name page. So what you can do when you have an IMDb Pro account is you can go in and claim that page. When you claim a page, what that does is, one, it allows you some additional features to update your page. So updating your picture, known for titles, things like that. But it also communicates to that content team that approve or rejects data that you are that person, but makes you seem a little bit more legit. So when people are, when that team is trying to say, hey, can we trust this person that's making the update? We'll say, yeah, we can, because it's your page. So that's very important. I'll show you how to claim that page. And then also, if you have multiple pages, sometimes you know, you have one page that has a credit, and then there's another page with your same name with a credit, or maybe it was like spelled wrong. If that happened, I'm going to show you how to merge those name pages. But it's really important that all of your credits are all on one page. Then once I do that, I'm going to show you the top 4 ways to promote yourself. So images, known for titles, video and reel in your bio. And then also actors can add some additional attributes. And if you have a disability, you can also mark that you have a disability as well. So I'm going to show you that because that's important because as much information as you can provide for yourself, people will be able to search on our new tool, IMDb Pro. Okay, so now let's jump into IMDb Pro. Okay, so we are now on IMDb Pro. You should see the IMDb Pro homepage. This is what you see when you come into IMDb Pro. If you have claimed your page, you will see in the top left, it says your page. It'll show your picture and it'll say you claim. If you haven't, you'll see a little claim your page button, which I'm going to click to claim my page. Now, if you just started an IMDb Pro account today, because you were like, oh, a 30-day free trial, it's going to bring you to this page. So this page asks you what you do for a living. We know that there are many of you that are, multi-hyphenates. You're an actor, you're a director, you're a writer. And for this, it doesn't affect your page. It just lets our team know how we can market to you and send you helpful information. So if you want, just select the thing that most like your main profession. But I'm just going to skip it. Okay, this is when you get to your claim page. Now, this is very important. Probably the most important thing you can do on IMDb Pro is claiming that page. Now, when you create an account, you have to put your name in. And so it will automatically populate some pages that might be yours based on your name. So I can see there's a Jed Shireman page, and then there's another Jed Shireman page. Now I see a few credits here. I noticed that all of these are my credits, which means that thing I talked about where you could have multiple name pages has happened. So I'm going to want to claim, and you want to claim to start off, the one that is the most like you. That's the most of your credits. So I'm going to click first into this one. And it goes to my name page. You can see there's a terrible picture of me. It's a red carpet. I'm not a red carpet. But I can see that it's got a lot of accurate information. Most of my credits are here. So I'm going to say, okay, most likely this is my main page. If I go into this second page, Jed Shireman 2, I can see there's only one credit. But it's a short that's very important to me. So I want that onto my page. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to that page that has the majority of my credits, and I'm going to click claim page. And when I do that, I'm brought back to this page, but I can see now that there's a lot of edit buttons for different features. Now, because I've claimed my page, I've now told the content team that this is me. You should be able to trust me. And also, I can now edit these different items. So, before I start showing you that, though, I want to show you how to merge your page. So if I go here, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a search. And it'll show you the recent searches I've done. And I can see here the Jed Shireman 2, the one without a picture. Notice that the search shows what picture you have. I'm going to go to that page. Now, I want to merge this with my page because I want this Jed video credit to be with the rest of my credits. Now, in order to merge your page, you can scroll to the bottom of the page and you'll see an edit page button. Now, all the title pages and the name pages have this edit page button. So as you're starting to update credits and add credits to your page, this edit page button is going to be your best friend. This is how you can do that. So I'm going to click edit page. When I do that, IMDb takes me to the IMDb Pro contributor tool. Now, this is the tool that you're going to want to learn how to use for updating, correcting, adding any kind of information to IMDb Pro. Now, I will not lie to you. This page can be a little overwhelming at first. I'm going to walk you through it. I promise, as I show you the logic of it, and as you do it a few times, you will learn to master it. You will become its friend. You'll be a master. So how this page works whenever you're going to update something is on the left, it lists different items on your page. You can see a name correction or merge. That's what you want to do. You can see filmography, actor credits. You can see, different types of credits, biographical information, all of this stuff. When you're on the contributor tool, how it works is you pick up the item on the left that you want to update, and then you go to the right of that item and you use the drop down to indicate what kind of change you want to make. So for name merge, I'm going to go to that name correction or merge, and I'm going to do add correction. I'm then going to scroll to the bottom, and there's a continue button. I'm going to click that. Now, if you're using this contributor tool, the whole process is The page will refresh. It will give you some instructions. Follow those instructions, fill it out, scroll to the bottom, click the check these updates or the continue button, and keep doing that until you get a green page. Green means go. So the goal is to get to green. If you get to a yellow, if you get to a red, that means there's an error or a warning that you need to manage in some way. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So for this page, it's telling me, okay, you want to do a name correction or merge? What's the name you want to merge with? I say Jed Shireman. You can decide if you want the previous credit's name to stay the same. And then you'll see on the bottom, there's an explanation field. Now this explanation field is very important and it'll come up again and again when you're trying to update your IMDb Pro page. This explanation field is your way to communicate to that content team. So this is where you can add links, URLs, or explain why this update needs to be made. So I'm going to say this is me. Not very descriptive, but when it's you and you're doing a real one, put in the information to say why this is you. You can say, hey, this is my credit. I want it to all be on one page. Now I clicked continue and you can see there's some red and yellow. So that means I need to update some things. What this is asking me is which Jed Shireman do you want to connect with? So I'll show you these kind of linkable pages. If you're not sure if it's the right page, you can click on it to go to that page, but I know that Jed Shireman 1 is the one I want to merge it with. If I click that, I click recheck these updates. We're at yellow again. Yellow means a warning. I know that this one says, hey, if you merge these pages, you're going to be deleting that other page. Are you sure you want to do that? And I'm going to say, yes, I do want to do that. So now that I've answered the question, I go to recheck updates. It's going to re-update again, and now we're at green. Like I said, green is go. That's when there's the submit these updates button. Now I am not going to actually submit this because it's helpful for me to have two name pages for webinars like this. But that's where you'll submit it. When you submit a change, whether it be adding a credit, updating your biography, whatever it might be, when you hit that submit these updates, you will get an email sent to you to your IMDb email address, whatever you provided, that says, hey, this update's going through. This is how you can track it. So usually give about 24 hours for our team to go through and approve it. But if you want to track it, on the top of the contribution tool, there's a contribution history button. When you click that, this is where you can go and look up all the different updates you made and track them. So if I go here and track this, it'll show me the update I made and I can see that it was approved. This is where you can see if something got approved or rejected. If something got rejected, it probably means you need to provide some more information or, whatever it says you need to provide, that's what you can do. Okay, so that is merging your page. Now, like I said, I moved very fast on it. So if you weren't able to completely catch up, I understand. In that follow-up email, you will see instructions how to do that. We'll also be going to that contributor tool again, so you'll see it again and again. But that is the main tool you want to get for updating information. So try it out a few times, become its friend. Okay, so now I have merged my page now. So I'm back on my name page, and these are just little helpful boxes, but since I'm going to show you how to do things, I don't need helpful boxes, so I'm going to get rid of them. Okay, so now all of my credits are here. I'm on my name page. Now that you've claimed it, this is now your time to promote yourself and use the tools to do that. So the number one thing you want to update on your name page is a picture. You want a picture of your face, a picture of you so people know who you are. There's many reasons for this. When we're back meeting in person, people like to see who you are. Casting directors, if you have a headshot, I definitely recommend you're an actor, put a headshot there because they'll be creating lists that I'll show you about and they want to see you. And so I recommend putting a headshot first and foremost. It doesn't have to be super fancy, it just has to be you looking at the camera so people can see what you look like. So this picture is not me. It's just a random picture. So IMDb will use an algorithm to say, hey, what do we think your best picture is? Based on what we have, it might not be the picture you want. So if you want to add images on your page, just click add images and this widget will show up on the right. And you click add images on that. And it will take you here. So I'm going to add an image. Great. You can add photographer, you can add a caption. I'm going to submit it. I'm going to add a few on here. I'm going to add a picture of my dog. I actually don't recommend in real life that you add a picture of your dog, unless it's his name page and he wants to get some roles. And I'm also going to do a picture of my Mr. Peanut Halloween costume because I'm proud of it. Again, I don't recommend you do Halloween costumes unless you're maybe a costume designer. So, okay, I've added a bunch of pictures. So you can see I have 3 pictures here. Now, it's still not my main picture that's here. So I'm going to go to edit these pictures. And this is where you can click whether you want IMDb to decide which picture is yours or the use my choices. Now you're going to see that option many times on the different features. Like I said, there's an algorithm that IMDb will use to try to put whatever they think is the most relevant. Again, that might not be the best way that you're being highlighted. So I recommend use your own choices and put a headshot as your main picture. You move that there and you save it. And now my picture is there. Now I'm going to go to my imdb.com page. You can always go back to your IMDb page on the top right here. And when I do that, you'll see that now my picture has been updated on imdb.com. So those changes that you make on IMDb Pro are going to translate to your imdb.com page as well. Now, an important thing about this, the headshots. When people search you in IMDb Pro, it's going to show the picture. If you don't have a picture, you just don't seem as legitimate. You won't get as many clicks. So if you do have a picture, you're going to get more clicks. Also, IMDb is owned by Amazon. So if people are using Amazon Prime Video or watching anything through Amazon services, or if they're asking Alexa a question, all of that pulls information from your IMDb page. So when you update your picture, when you update things, that data is coming from IMDb. So it's important to update those things because it just helps you be more known. Okay, so for the picture, I recommend putting a headshot. And then your other pictures, you can select the next 5 pictures that show up. You can do more headshots. I recommend anything that has to do with your craft. So if you have a still, maybe from your Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, if you have a still, if you're an actor, maybe it's an on-set photo of you, if you're the director, anything that's going to show the work that you do. Awards are also good. So if you're at an award ceremony, you're holding an award, things like that are the pictures I recommend putting first after your headshot. Also, we got questions in the last one about, hey, should I have a picture that shows my disability? It's up to you. Usually talking to casting directors, they want to see who you are, that unique thing that you bring to a role or whatever. So I would recommend doing it, but again, it's up to you. When you have IMDb Pro, you're able to promote yourself the way that you want to. And so you can do that by selecting your picture. So that's the number one thing you want to update your picture. Also, if you do put something like a production still or shot, use the captions to let people know what they're seeing. So if you do put a production still and it's a shot from a scene that has you in it, say, hey, this is from this short film, and give some information because people will be looking at your page. That's how they'll learn more about you. Okay, so we talked about images. The second thing that's most important for your page is your known for titles. Now I'm going to go back to my imdb.com page, and you can see here there's known for titles. Now I'm showing you on imdb.com because imdb.com will actually pull the poster pictures. What known for is it's the first films that people will see on your page, and it's supposed to say, hey, these are what this person is known for. Now, similar to my picture, which wasn't that IMDb pulled and it wasn't the most flattering of me, known for, the algorithm is going to decide what they think is the most relevant for you if you don't decide. So a fun fact about this is Molly Shannon of Saturday Night Live fame, if she doesn't update her known fors using IMDb Pro, one of her known fors will be The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Now, a lot of people don't remember that Molly Shannon was even in that movie, but because that's her highest box office, it just says, hey, this is the most relevant, so it pulls it in there. So people may see that and they might think, oh, that doesn't reflect Molly Shannon. She's a comedian. She's done Saturday Night Live. So keep that in mind, that that's kind of how the algorithm works. It's going to pull the, box office. And if you were maybe like an extra in a big box office film, it'll pull that, which might look impressive. But when they dive into it, it might not show, your actual work. So on your IMDb Pro page, if you click edit, you'll go to this known for title. And this is where you can let IMDb decide or use your own titles. Now I have one real credit, Swimming Upstream. I did some background work in high school. Thank you very much. I'm going to put that one first, and then I'm going to select some other ones. Now, people ask, hey, what should I put up here? One, put the work that you're most proud of, that best showcases your work, because your known for titles will be pulled into lists that people create. We're going to go into that a little bit later, but those will come in. So you want people to see the things that you're proud of first. Also, if you are trying to do a specific type of work, so if you're trying to get into feature films, if you have a feature film credit, you want to put that in there. If you're trying to do more shorts or you want to do more directing, put your directing credits in there. Make it reflect the career that you want. You want a big thing is just projecting what you want, putting it out into the universe. I want to work on this type of film. If you've got that credit, put that there. You can put 1 or 4, whatever works best for you. And then you save that. Now for known for titles, it takes about 24 hours for the update to go through. So just, be a little patient, because it's got to go through all the different things. So X-Ray on Amazon, Alexa, all that stuff. So known for it. Definitely think about which ones you want which credits you want to highlight. Definitely recommend an Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge credit if you have it. But again, it is up to you. Okay, the third thing I'm going to talk about that's really important is videos and reels. So this is very similar to your images. If you have videos that you want to share, you can also do that on IMDb Pro. So to do that, if you scroll down, you can go to the videos tab here. This is where you can see the videos that you've added. I have a lot of videos of my dog playing in the yard. Again, I don't recommend that for your own career. This is just an example, but if you want to add more videos, you can click add video and it will take you to a video upload tool. This is where you can upload your videos and save them. When you do upload them, it takes about 24 hours for the upload to go through, so just be patient there. I definitely recommend Reels if you have it. If you have a Reel, it's great. If you have a short, like your Easter Seals Disability Film short, as long as you have the rights to post that to your page, you can actually put a short on there as well. With anything with pictures and videos, just make sure you have the rights to do that. Also, if you do a reel, my recommendation is take advantage of the video description, the caption. If you're putting together scenes from different things you've worked on, like let's say you're a director and you're showing the different things you've directed, write in the description what people are looking at. So if it's from 0 to 30 seconds, it's your 2020 Easter Seals Disability Film short, write that in. If from 30 to a minute, it's your 2021 Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge film, write that in so people know what they're looking at. Again, people are using this as your resume, so give them as much information as possible to showcase your work, and they can go in and know who you are. If you go to manage upload videos, this is where you can manage the videos. It's possible to make these public or private. So if you want people to see your videos, make them public. If you don't want people to see the video at a certain time for whatever reason, you can make it private. So just make sure you're setting those according to what you want selected. Then once you have videos up there, if you go to edit videos, you can select the primary video. The primary video is like your primary image that you can select. When you select that, the one that's going to show up on your imdb.com page. So you can see here, there's this test video. It's right at the top. It's what people will see first. You want to make sure that you have your best video up there. Maybe it's your reel, maybe it's the short you created. When you're in IMDb Pro, you're going to get that choice again to let IMDb decide or for you to decide. If you click for you to decide, that's where you can pick what the primary video will be. And then you can save it. Again, for this one, give it about 24 hours and that video will go up. Again, mostly talking to people, reels are really helpful for people to get a sense of who you are. So I recommend if you don't have a reel, try to create one and then put that up there. Okay, the fourth thing to do is your bio. So this is also very important. A bio is your biography. It tells people about yourself. So, you know, a lot of this information on your IMDb page is credits. It's just like data that's coming in. This is your opportunity to write more about who you are. You know, if you have a story, you can share it here. To do this, you will click edit your biography and it'll take you to that contributor field. That contributor tool where you have to go through, that's the one where you keep answering the questions and continue until you get to green. Now, 2 helpful tips to give you on this is one, the content team that I told you about, when they're approving things, they want to make IMDb as accurate as possible. So they want to make sure that if you ever update your biography and then you never update it again, they want to make sure it stays accurate for as long as possible. So one reason that bios get rejected is because they don't use evergreen language. So what I mean by that is if you have a film that will premiere in July 2021 and you write it's premiering next July, that is true until July 2021 passes. After that, next July is July 2022. I think I said the dates wrong, but basically you want to say this will premiere July 2021, not next July, because July 2021 is never going to change. So keep that in mind. Whenever you're writing this, make sure this is language that is evergreen. It will never go out of date. That will help you get this accepted. Also, you want to keep the same word count or more. So if your bio is 500 characters, you want to keep it at 500 characters or more. If you go less, the team will think that you're deleting details. Now, you can rearrange what information is in there, but you just got to keep the same length or more. So those are 2 tips for how to update your bio. Keep the language evergreen and increase the language or more. Another thing is people can search Discover by your bio. So if there are any keywords about your identity that you'd like people to be able to search for, it's important to put those in. So whatever those might be, like if you're comedic, you do comedies, or if you want to talk about your disability, you can put all of that in the bio. So if someone is specifically looking for that, they can do that. Just keep in mind that with Discover, which we'll talk about later, it has to be an exact match. So something like comedic, if you're doing comedy, comedic, someone might search comedy, they might search comedic. You want to try to make those keywords the ones that people will search. So just keep that in mind. Keeping them really general terms that people might search for. Okay, so those are the top 4 ways to really update your page so you get more clicks and more visibility. The images, the known for, the video, and the bio. Now, the last thing you can update is you can do details about yourself. So on this page, I can't go over everything, so definitely kind of click into all the different tabs and everything and switch around. But if you go to the About section and you click Edit About, this is where you can update different things about yourself. You can do trivia, your education, additional resume info. If you do your performance profile, this is where you can add different information. So if you're an actor and you want to put height, your hair color, you can add all that information. This helps you become more searchable. So if you're a blonde and they're looking for a blonde, put in you have blonde hair, they can search for that. For unique traits, this is where you can, right now, where you can add your disabilities. I know that the language is not, we're working on the language here, but under the unique traits, this is where you can put some disabilities. So if you do have a disability, like you are deaf, you have cerebral palsy, you can add those in and these can be searchable. IMDb is working to expand these so that there's better representation and people can search for you. But for right now, this is where you can add that information and then you can be searchable and Discover, which I'll show you later. So all this stuff, if you also have, languages you speak, accents, musical instruments, things like that, this is where you can add those special traits. Whatever makes you unique. If you can add it, it makes you more unique, they can search for you. And your uniqueness is your strongest trait in this industry. So make sure you are promoting yourself. Okay, so that was a long section. It was the longest one because it's most important that you claim and optimize your name page. That is your page where people can learn about you. So definitely, if you're going to do one thing on IMDb Pro, claim your page and update your information. The second thing you should do, though, is update your contact details and representation. Now, like I said, IMDb Pro has additional information that's just for the entertainment industry. Contact details are the most important. If someone watches your Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge film and they want to cast you or they want to hire you as a writer or whatever, you want to make sure they can get in contact with you. So I'm going to show you how you can add your contact details and representation. Contact details can be your personal phone number, can be however you want it to be, or you can add your representation. So you can do either of them. I'll show you those two things. Also, if you do have representation and you want to give them access to make all those updates that I just showed you, we have a tool called shared editing. Now, if that's the case, there's 3 criteria that must be met. You both must have IMDb Pro, you and your rep. You both must have claimed your name page, and you must be listed on each other's pages. So you must say on IMDb Pro, this is my rep. So I'm going to jump into that now and show you how to do content. This is also a good reason to get the app. If you have the IMDb Pro app, people are always on their phone looking people up. They can just, like, at a click of a button, send you an email or give you a call. Okay. We're back on my name page. On the contacts page on the left, contact section, this is where you can see all of your representation in your contact detail. To update it, you just click edit. It's very easy. When you click direct contact details, this is where you can put your phone number in, your email, your fax number, whatever it is. You update it and you submit it. Then the content team will approve it and it's live. Very easy. Don't miss out on the job because you don't have your contact details. Very important. The next is representation. If you want to add representation, you just click the representation tab, and this is where you can add representation. You can select by company, or you can select by the person's name and put what their role is. Again, very important if you have the representation to add that so people can get in contact with you if they want to work with you. The last thing I talked about was the shared editing. So if you click shared editing under edit on the contact section, this is where it will show you the people that fit those 3 criteria, and you can very easily either disable or give them shared editing permission. What that looks like if you give someone access, I'm going to my clients page. I can see that I represent Jennifer and Sarah. You can see that I can update their primer image, featured images, and known for titles right there. So it's very easy to do. So yeah, make sure your contact details are updated. Very important. You want people to be able to reach out to you. Okay, that was a pretty quick section. All right, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is creating and updating title pages. So like I said before, title pages are your short film, your feature film, your television show, whatever you have a credit on. Now, we have all those partnerships with different companies to get a lot of information, but we don't have all the information. So if it is the case that you don't have a title page for your film, whether like maybe it's a short, you can create that page. So you can see there's a title page creation link here. This will also be in that follow-up email. If you need to add more credits that aren't there, use that form to do that. It's very similar to that contributor tool. It'll ask you for information. Make sure that you have enough information for our content team to approve it. So make sure you have a title, what type of film it is it a feature, is it a television show, key filmmakers. Add that information and also use that explanation field I told you about. Put in the URL. If let's say you have a Vimeo link or a YouTube link of this of this film, whatever it might be, link to that so they can confirm that it's real. Once you submit it, give it 24 hours, and then it will be live, and then you can start adding credits and things like that. So if you don't have those title pages, definitely add it. Make your resume robust. You can use those pages. Then once you have that page, add key information to your title page. So it's like your name page. The more images you have, videos, key filmmakers, and cast, the more people will fall down the IMDb rabbit hole and spend time learning about it. So I'll show you how to go onto a title page and add some of this information. Again, though, only add images and videos that you own and have the rights to. So, you know, if it's the short, if you want to add like a short video, you gotta just make sure that you have the rights to do that. Okay, so I am not going to go through the title page link. If you are someone that needs to create a title page, on the follow-up email, go to that link and add it. But I am going to show you how to update title page information. So let's say I go to Nene Tubam, one of the 2021 East Coast Disability Film Challenge finalists and winner. This is the title page. So it's similar to a name page where it lists all this different information. You can see awards. Let's go to this. Ooh, winner or nominee for, well, 1 Best Actor and 2 nominations. You can see that on the IMDb Pro page. Very exciting. On this page, you can see that they have an image, which is great. I recommend a poster if you can. Again, in the search, if you don't have an image, your title will not look as legit. And also on name pages, they'll show the little pictures as well. So the more titles that have pictures, the better you look. You just look more established. So I definitely recommend adding those. I am going to all of the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge winners, our nominees have posters on their pages. So I'm going to go to one of my made up credits, this one, SIUAT, to show you what it looks like if there's not a picture on the page. So if you want to add a picture, because your title page doesn't have one, you click the add picture and you're back at that widget where you can add pictures. So very simple. Again, a poster is the best image to have, but if not, you can do production stills or other images. So just get an image on there, it makes it look a little better. For video or adding other information, like I showed you, scroll to the bottom of a page and there will be an edit page button. When you do that, it's going to take you to that contributor tool again. Now on the left, you can see all the different positions you can add a credit for, and also company credits and basic data. Now, if you wanted to add a video, like you wanted to put the actual short, because this page is so full, I recommend doing the search function, Control F, and searching for video. You can see video clips. Go to whichever item you want to update, go to the right, say add one item, scroll to the bottom to continue. It's going to come to the next page. For your own personal page that you've claimed, you will have your own video upload tool, so it's very easy to add. For a title page, you'll need to add a video clip. So the team will need to update it for you. So for a title page, you add the link. So if you have a Vimeo link, Dropbox link, YouTube link, whatever it might be, provide that there, and then you can update it. So yeah, there's a lot that you can add to your title pages. I recommend, as you're kind of updating your resume, updating your credits, making your page look more robust, go into your title pages and find if there's anything missing and go in and make those updates. The more information you have, the better it looks for you. The more people will want to work with you. Okay, so that's updating your title page. So very important. Again, that information will be in that follow-up email. Okay, so I now want to go over kind of those contribution tips and tricks I taught you. So now that you know how to use IMDb, you know how to claim your name page, you want to add those credits and update it. When you're doing that, first you want to understand the contribution flow. That's that kind of overwhelming page where you have to pick the item on the left and on the right, select what you want to do. Learn that, try it a few times, update a few things. Just remember you're going for green. Once you get to green, that's when you can hit submit. The second thing to remember, on-screen credits are the gold standard. So if you can provide a link to an article or a YouTube link, give whatever information you need to the team so they can see those credits. If you are uncredited though, that's still an option. Just when you're adding the credit, there's an attribute field, put uncredited there. So we know, like if you're working on TV, some roles, some behind the scenes roles, they don't credit every episode. So if you did work on an episode, but it wasn't your week to get credited, you can do an uncredited credit. Number 3, if you're updating your bio, Keep the language evergreen and don't shorten it. That's going to help you to get it approved. Number 3, again, I need to update the bullets on this slide, is take advantage of that explanation field. Again, there are people on the other end that are approving or rejecting your submission. So give them the tools they need and the information to make the right call. And then number 5, but it's listed as number 4 here, take advantage of customer service. I showed you the link. There'll be the link in the follow-up email. If you do run into any issues, send them an email and they will help you out. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is networking. So IMDb Pro is a great tool to use to get to know other filmmakers. So the number 1 tool for doing that is IMDb Pro lists. You can see a picture here on the right. I'm going to show you what those are. This is where you can create lists of people. It will gather information about the people, and then you can export those or share them with other people. Now, the top users of lists on IMDb Pro are casting directors. So they create lists of the act, they're looking for an actor for a role. They add all the candidates and then they share with other people. But there's all different ways to use lists. So I'll show you how to do that. Second, I'll show you how you can look for maybe some connections between people when you go to a name page. And I'll also show you how to search through title pages to try to find people you might want to work with. All right, so let's jump back into IMDb Pro. All right, so when you are on IMDb Pro and you go to the You section, you go to Your Lists. This is where you can find your lists. Now we updated this tool recently, so it's pretty great. If you did know about this, but you haven't been in a while, I would come check it out again. It's even better. Okay, so you can see I create a list called the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge nominees. Now this doesn't have all the nominees. So if you are a nominee for this year and you were not included, I'm so sorry. Just for the sake of time, I wasn't able to add everyone, but I tried my best. So on this list, you can see the information. So if this is a producer or a casting director that's looking for people to work with, they're going to add you as on a list if you're a candidate, and it's going to show all this information. So again, you can see you don't have an image, you don't have an image on the list. So it might, they might not be as serious about you if that's the case. So I definitely recommend to get a picture on that. It also shows you the professions you have. Your known for titles show up here. So again, choosing known for titles that really represents you is going to help you, because when you get put on the list, people will see that. And then if you have representation, it's all here. You also, if you are creating a list for yourself, you can add notes here. So for Jennifer, I can say, I loved The Fish Don't Care When It Rains. And then it's here. I can say, check it out. So when I share this with someone, they're going to see those notes. So yeah, if you are looking at, like, maybe you're saying, I want to find directors that I want to work with, you can create a list. There's many uses for this. You can create a list and then you can share it. So in the top left, you can send a link to someone so they can look at the list. So if you have a teammate that you're working with, you can share that. Even if they don't have IMDb Pro, they can access the list. If you send it to someone who doesn't have IMDb Pro, they can view that list for 30 days, which is a good amount of time. So take advantage of that. Or you can export the list. So if you are like me and you love Excel and you love spreadsheets, you can create a list and then you can export it and you can decide what information you want. So I'm going to say, I only want these items, and then I'm going to export. I can now open this file. And I can see all this information. So it's a really great way when you're like working on a team to send that information. So definitely check lists out. So lots of uses for lists. Definitely check them out and start using them. Okay, so then let's say you go to a name page and you're on a name page. This is Jennifer's name page. You saw my name page when I was creating it. It looks really similar here. You just can't edit like the known for titles and those kind of things. Now, this is where you can look at all the credits. This is great. Jennifer has lots of images for everything, so it looks fantastic. If you go to the Connections tab, this is where you can find out if you know, maybe have worked with someone that's worked with Jennifer. Now, this is great if you want to find someone that you want to work with. Now, Jennifer and I have never worked on a film together. That makes sense. I don't actually work in the entertainment industry. I work for IMDb. So I'm going to show you what the connections tool looks like on my coworker, Bishnu. Now, we have a bunch of credits just so I can do, we can test things. So I know that Bishnu and I have connections. When I go to the connections tab here, this will show me titles that I've worked on with Bishnu, and also it'll show me people that both me and Bishnu have worked together. So if I'm looking at Mikhail, I know that I worked on Cloud Air with Mikhail, and Bishnu worked with Mikhail on SIU AT2. So it's like, oh, this is great. Maybe I should add Mikhail to a list, and I should reach out to Mikhail to say, hey, I'd love to get connected to Bishnu. Can you help me out? So it's a great tool when you're like, if there's like a director you really want to work with, you can kind of find out if you have a connection to kind of get in touch with them. Also, I'm going to go back to Jennifer's page. You can also, if you're on a filmography, you can edit the filmography. Oh, nope, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to filter the filmography. If you go to filter filmography, if you're on someone's page that has lots of credits, you can say, I only want to see the credits that Jennifer was the cinematographer on. You can filter that and you can see those. So that's a feature that a lot of people don't realize. And then if you want to add to a list, when you find a person, under their picture, you can see add to list. This is where you can add them to whatever list you have. And you'll notice that I've already have her added to the ADFC nominees. So it's green, but you could create a list right there. So it's a great way to look for people and find people that you're interested in working with. Okay, so I'm gonna go to another title page. I'm gonna go to social fitness, which was a short from this year. And when you go here on this page, if you want to, let's say you really loved social fitness and you want to work with the writer, you can go to any title page, go to the filmmakers tab and go filter by profession. And similarly, you can pick the profession. So if I want to work with the writer, you can do that and it'll filter down to all the writers. If you want to look at the producers, you can click that and see the producers. So IMDb has a lot of information. If you really want to find a person you might want to work with, it's a great tool to use the filter by profession tool. Okay, so those are lists, and those are some ways to find people using title pages and name pages. So definitely check that out as you're navigating IMDb Pro. Okay, the next and the last thing I'm going to talk about before we start jumping in and answering your questions and doing trivia and giving you out cards is IMDb Pro Discover. Now, this is a really cool new tool that we recently released. It's currently in beta. And what this does is it allows you to do more targeted searches for different filmmakers. Now, you have access over 25 search filters. So when I was talking to you about updating your name page by putting, talents you have, different features about yourself, people can search for that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And then also in the search, you can see people's pictures. You can see they're known for. This is another instance where it's really important to have as much of your information selected, because people are going to see your known fors and your images right there. And also, you can add the people in your searches directly to a list from IMDb. So I am going to show you how to use that. Okay, so if you want to go to IMDb Pro Discover, when you go up to the search bar, you click on it, you can see on the right, it says Discover People. So we're going to click that. And it's going to bring you to this page. Now, this is where you'll start building your search and adding different filters to find that specific person you want to work with. So let's say I'm looking for an actor. So I'm going to select an actor, and it's going to start just filling in all the actors. This is everyone that is considered an actor on IMDb Pro that has an actor credit. And then this is where you can start adding filters. So if I wanted an actor that has 3 credits between a certain time frame, so between 2016 and 2021, you can add that and it'll start to fill in that information. You can also search by credit details. So this is where you can search by the title type. So if you're looking for someone that's in a movie or a short TV episode, all that can be searched for. This is pulling from your credits. So that's why it's important that you have your credits updated, because if you have a TV episode, you want them, if they're looking for someone that has that experience, you want to make sure that's there. And also you can look for plot keywords. So if, let's say, they're looking for someone that's worked on a film that had death in the plot, you can do that. So you can see Riz Ahmed, he was in Sound of Metal. It'll pull that in. Now, one thing to keep in mind for keywords, like I said in your own bio, is you got to make sure that the word matches. So, you know, death is in the plot description. Also keep in mind when you're doing professional experience, if you add more credits, so if you have to have 2 credits, this means that both of those credits, they have to have 2 credits that have death in the plot. So just keep that in mind. The more filters you use, the more specific it'll be to drill down and find. Okay, so there's a bunch of different features here. I can't go over all of them, so I definitely, in your free time as you're exploring IMDb Pro, check this out. But remember, as you go through all of these things, if the information is on your page, they'll be able to search for it. So that's where you go into like personal details, age, playing range, birthplace, keywords, physical attributes. I again mentioned the unique traits. Again, you can search for people that have those unique traits. So if someone's looking for, someone that's deaf, they can search for that. I know that right now is not as fully robust, and we are working on that so that it can be better represented. But definitely keep this in mind as we launch more options so that you can update your page so that you can be searchable. And to finish this off, one of the most exciting things is you can search by awards and film festivals. So if, let's say, I'm doing nominees, I want to see nominees for the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. Hold on while it loads. Okay. So if I put in the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, it now filters for actors that were nominees of the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. This is another way that if someone is looking for a filmmaker with a disability, they can put in that award and then they can be selected. So again, it's really important to update your page to make sure you're putting as much information about yourself as possible so that people can search you and find you. And then you can also create a list. They can pull people and put you on a list directly from there. So that is IMDb Pro Discover. Okay, so that, I believe, is the last of my slides. So we can now move to questions and trivia. So thank you so much to everyone that's been adding questions. Okay, so I know, Nick, I may need your assistance for a moment because you said the first gift card will be going to the first question. Is that correct?
That is correct. Well, first of all, thank you so much. Big virtual round of applause. Many of us all of us are on mute, aside from me and you, because of just technical abilities. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through the Q&A, and then we're also going to, we have some fun trivia related to Easter Seals and the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. But the first Amazon gift card that we are giving out came to the first question that was out populated, and that question, which you answered, came from Leah Zelaya, and you, Leah, you asked how old IMDb is, and I thought that was so cool that you answered that, Jed. So congratulations, Leo, and we are going to be sending you a gift card. And then real quick, before we get into the next question, I'd like to give a little plug. We were able to help put Leah together for the Universal Pictures film Marry Me that is coming out next year, where they wrote a specific, created a role looking for somebody else, a child with a disability, and they for a role that didn't explain about disability at all. So I thought that was awesome. So everybody be on the lookout for Marry Me when that comes out. And you'll be able to see Leah in that, and also great job on your film this year. All right, so now let's kind of move through some of these questions, if that's good with you, Jed.
Yeah, and then whenever you want to do a trivia question, you can just jump in if you want to
Yes.
sprinkle them in between stuff. Okay.
Yes, I love it.
Okay, so I have a question. Is there any benefit of keeping your direct contact on Pro once you get representation? It all depends on how you want to be contacted. So a lot of people, once they have representation, if you have a manager that should be kind of fielding all of your contacts, I think it's good that you can then remove yourself then, because you want to direct people to where you want to be contacted. Usually people will go through your rep, but you know, that's, so yeah, it's up to you. But I would say, yeah, you probably want to put your rep. You also can put, for your contact information, you can also put the rep's email there too. So it doesn't have to be necessarily your personal email. It can just say, hey, when you're going to contact me, you contact this email or you call this number. But yeah, there's no benefit to having both unless you want people to be able to reach you. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Should you bother paying for an IMDb Pro page if you barely have any credits? I would say yes, but you can start to, it really depends on where you're at in your career and how you're trying to promote yourself. If right now you don't have the credits and so you don't want to spend the money on that, you can still add your credits with an imdb.com account. So if you have imdb.com, just go there, create a profile. On the imdb.com page, you can still scroll to the bottom and edit your page. You can add those credits that are linkable. So if I go to, let's go to Nick's page. So if we're on Nick's page, these hyperlink credits here, these are the ones that are vetted by the IMDb Pro team. And so those can still be added. All the additional information, like updating your pictures and any additional stuff, like the attributes about yourself, those you can't add, but you can at least add those credits. So there is a benefit to having IMDb Pro, but if you feel like you want to get more credits first, you can still add those main credits through imdb.com. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. If my scene in the TV show never aired, can I still get that credit on IMDb? I believe you can. There is there's a help site article on that. You'll have like a different attribute. Yeah, there's a help. I would search the help page. I'll try to find it at some point. But if like while you're on here, if you want to search for that, there is a page. I'll try to find it. It'll explain kind of how they do that. But yeah, a lot of times, you're on a show and they cut you. You're like so proud. Sometimes they don't even tell you. Just not in the episode. So if that is the case, I believe you can. There is just in the help site, it will go through this. Sorry, I didn't know myself the full answer to that one. If you are SAG-AFTRA, you could get 30% off your annual Pro membership. That is correct. So there are we have an affiliate program. So if you search the affiliate program on the IMDb Pro help page, it'll list all the different organizations that do have discounts. You have to contact that organization to get the discount code. So usually it's behind like a gated website. So if you're a SAG member, I believe if you have the app where you can get like check royalties and stuff, they'll have the link to that. But yes, you can get a different percentage based on what guild and union or organization you are associated with. So definitely check out that list. How can I add news articles to my profile and what types of articles are accepted? Is it possible to add a link to my Instagram page? Okay, so that's two questions. I will do the first one first. The news article, if you go to the news tab, ooh, Nick has some news. So when you go to the home page, there's a news feed. And you can see there's a bunch of different stories that come up. A lot of them are from the trades. So when you can see that there are hyperlinks. Ooh, Drag Race. The different hyperlinks, they'll link to different pages. So when you get a story that has a link to it, it'll get linked to your page. But I will say it's the big trade. So if it's a smaller publication, it may not have a news story that is currently added to IMDb Pro, but may not be linked. But I believe that's something you can add. You can like email customer service. I know they can tag. Well, one thing, if let's say there is an article and your name is in it and they don't have the hyperlink there, you can definitely email customer service and have them tag it to your page. If it's not one of those articles, email customer service and see if they can tag that article and get it included. But that's how it works. So a lot of it is automated, but if it's not, customer service is your best bet to get it out. The second one, is it possible to add a link to my Instagram? And you can. I believe it's called external links. So yeah, so you can see external links here. If you click, I added my official website, jed.com. I don't know if that's a real website or not, but you can. So when you go to edit your page and you go in the contribution tool, go to like external links, and that's where you can add that information. So if you want to add your Instagram. Okay. Nick, do you want to jump in with a trivia question?
Yeah, so we have 4 trivia questions. I kind of feel like Alex Trebek here. You know, I'm trying to channel my inner Jeopardy. So bear with me, and it's fun to be there in person, but it's amazing that we're all here together and learning. So again, can't thank you enough, Jed, IMDb Pro, you know, featuring the films from the Film Challenge. All of you, you know, you're going to get all of this information. You're going to be emailed everything. So if you're like, where was this? You're going to get it emailed. And the first trivia question is, now the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, obviously our amazing partner, Easter Seals, Southern California. You know, in 2019, it was a big year for Easter Seals. So it was a big celebration. The question is, how long has Easter Seals been around for? First person in. 2019 was a big year, and how long has Easter Seals been around for? Let's see, and we have an answer here. 102. Oh, boom! We got it. We got winner. We got Anna Packman getting hitting it with 102. All right.
Woo!
Now I'm gonna ask one more question, then we'll go back to some Q&A and then finish up towards the end. Okay, so this year was a record-breaking year. We had the most films we ever had from all over the world, including India, Australia, the Netherlands, Italy, UK, Ireland. How many official entries were there for this year's Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge? Boom! We got Carl Hand. Oh, nope. Sorry. We got a lot coming in here. It's 93. And Samuel Lawrence, you got yourself a gift card coming your way.
All right. Good work. We'll get back to questions now, and then we will finish up with the last 2 trivia questions. Okay. If you were just an extra, should you credit yourself? Yeah, so that is up to you. That's another thing where you can add that credit. It depends on, you know, the career that you want to like promote. So if you want that work there, add it. One thing I will say is that IMDb Pro strives to be as accurate as possible. So they will not remove credits that are accurate. So if you do add an extra credit, and then you make it big, and then you're like, oh, I don't want my extra credits on there anymore, you cannot take them off after. The team will say that's accurate, it will stay. So I say if it's not on there, you can add it, but just think about, you know, if it's something you want on for your entire career. So I am of the mind that if you've done the work, you should be proud of it and you should add it on there. But just keep in mind, there are people that later put like a student film that they don't want. They're like, oh, that doesn't represent me anymore. It will stay on IMDb because it is a comprehensive data. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, I would say yes, but just think about that before you say it. Okay, next question. I've had cast directors tell me not to include background extra work since you're not credited for it. Congrats. Great, Rachel. Thank you for adding that information. So yeah, that's the things to consider. Is, you know, people will be looking at your whole resume, you know, start building the story you want to tell. That's what you can do with IMDb Pro. Is there a way to get credit for the film I did for the East Steals Disability Film Challenge? If so, how? So we, for the award, the finalists, we did an awards page. So those title pages got created. If you want credit for that, you want to create a title page. So I talked about that title page creation form. In the follow-up email, use that link to create it. You know, if it's been released, like, you know, if it's on YouTube or wherever someone can find the film, I would just provide that link for the team so they can confirm that it's real. And then you can have that page and then it's a credit. And then
And all, for one little note for that too, all of our films are on the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge YouTube page. So we do have an official kind of landing page that you can.
Great. Yeah, so that's perfect. So when you're doing that, when you're filling out the information on the title page creation, in the explanation field, definitely put the link to your film. Because then, you know, it's like, oh, this definitely exists. So yeah, you can get that credit added. Cool. And
Before we get into our last two trivia questions, I made a mistake and I apologize for that. The first answer was actually Shashank. So Shashank, you're getting that gift card, 102 years of Easter Seals. I wanted to throw that out there.
All right, I know some people and I'll get an extra gift card so Carl can also get one. Was it Carl? Or who was the other one whoever that one was, you'll also get a gift.
All right.
I'll pull some strings. Thanks for coming clean, Nick. I appreciate your honesty. Cool, so there's information about how to add the Instagram. So thank you for that, Shashank. Okay. If you have broadcast credits, should you upload the entire 30-minute feature or a 30-second trailer? For 30 minutes, I know there is a limit on the size of the video. Let me see if it shows. So there's the question of the length. So I think the video, you can see here on the right, it'll have all the stuff. So I think it's up to 10 gigabytes. I don't know if 30 minutes will fit that. I don't really know tech stuff in that regard. So one, you have to check that. Two, you have to make sure you have the rights to it. Three, I would probably say the trailer is better than putting the 30-minute video up there. Just because I don't know if people will watch a 30-minute video on IMDb.com. So I can't speak for everyone. So I would recommend the 30-minute second trailer, just because if a casting director is looking at you, give them something quick. I actually did a panel with a casting director and they were like, it's an 11-minute reel, I'm not going to look at it. So remember that no one reads anything, no one watches things that are like more than 10 seconds, really. That's an exaggeration. So I would say just keep in mind your audience. You want to get people interested in watching it. So shorter stuff is probably better. I think a short though, like is a good thing to add because people may watch that. But for promoting yourself, I'd say don't go longer than that. I rambled a bit there, but I would say the shorter one. Keep in mind the short attention span of all of us now. And you want people to be quickly learning who you are and wanting to work with you. Okay, next question. How about a check mark for disabled? Yeah, I agree. I will be completely honest. We have a lot of work to do on better representation, our language, making sure that we are covering so much. And we also know and want to be sensitive to, you. For any kind of identity type questions, whether it be gender, disability, all kinds of stuff, we want to make sure that's self-identifying because that's so important. So we are, I will share this feedback with the team. We are working towards that. We love that we have Easter Seals to go to when we are making decisions because we don't want to be speaking for any identity that is not our own. Yeah, so that is a great suggestion. I do want to just acknowledge we have work to do on better representation on IMDb Pro. So we are committed to that. Okay, these lists, are they public or private? They are absolutely private. So no one will see the list you are doing. So they'll only see it if you share it. So when you share, it becomes public. But no one will ever know whose page you're looking at. No one will ever know the list that you're creating. I do a lot of these webinars. I talk with people, and everyone's like, when you're cyber stalking, you don't want people to know. When you're on Facebook, like if it says like Jed was looking at your page again, we know that that's no good. So no one will see your search history or your lists unless you share those lists with people. What if you ended up in a production still? Can you use that? Yes. So again, it's just like making sure you have the rights to use it for the production still. So it depends on, like, usually you can just ask the production and they can give you the rights to it. I know there are also, there are ways to ask about it and there are rules around it. Like typically you can, but just if you have any question about whether you have the right or not, just kind of do an extra search or reach out to that production company if you can and see if you can get the rights for it. But production still, you can upload it. On Pro Private, on IMDb, if you are making, for instance, a film list, you have the option public or private. So the IMDb Pro lists are title pages and name pages. That is private. On imdb.com, you can also, your account kind of switches between both. So like it's the same login for both, but there are different features. There is a list feature on imdb.com that you can make public or private. So if you were like, Ged's amazing films he likes, I could create that list. So yeah, there's a difference between those. So that's an important distinction. But the imdb.com lists are more like an editorial list that you're creating. Okay. Oh, there's lots of thank yous. You're welcome. I'm just happy to be here. Good luck on the audition, Sam. Okay.
While we're getting that, I'm going to ask one more question, so we just have the finale at the end here.
Sounds good.
And so for the next question, what film won Best Film in the 2021 Easter Sales Disability Film Challenge? And who is that? Who was the first one? It's Dwarf Psychosis. I need help. Who was the first person here? I don't want to lose my ability to host Jeopardy. I've been working on my audition for quite a while, and if I name the wrong person again, that's it. I'm out. My chances. Dwarf Psychosis. Who was it? Who was the first one? We're getting a lot of competing answers here. I love it. All right, and let's see. Dwarf Psychosis. It was Anna. Anna? Sophia. Sophia won. Sophia Cheyenne. Hey, Sophia Cheyenne of Loudermilk fame. You can watch her on Amazon. Loudermilk seasons 2 and 3. She got that opportunity thanks to her film made for the Easter Sales Disability Film Challenge. Look at that segue. All right, now let's go back to the Q&A here.
I think you can keep your job. You're doing great. Okay, if you have credits for films that never were finished or I was cut out of the film, am I able to have those removed from your credits? I believe so. You should be able to. So that's something like if you are on your page, let me go back to my page. So I talked about uncredited. If that's the case, the credits should be listed as uncredited if they did add it. It's interesting, someone must have added that on to your page. So one thing, this is like another tip. If you add a credit on your page from your profile and then you try to remove it, they can see that you added it and removed it. So they'll be like, this is real, why did you do this? So that's just like, keep that in mind when you're kind of communicating with the credits team. But if let's say you didn't appear, I believe you should be able to get that removed. You go to the bottom of you go to edit your page, go to filmography, go for, oh, that is not, you go to edit your page. Sorry, hold on. I'm gonna go to edit filmography, edit credits, that's what I want. So you go to edit credits, you end up back at this contributor tool again. And you can do correct delete. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to go to continue, and it's going to pull up all my acting credits. This is where you can say, do I want to keep, correct, or delete? So if that's the case, if I want to delete this Sharpie one, because I didn't actually show up in it, go to delete, go to check these updates, and then the explanation field. So this is where you can say, I was cut from this, or I did not appear in this. And that's where you can say, please remove this. That's how you should do that. You should be able to, I believe, if you didn't actually show up there. Nick, I did want to do a time check, so I'm happy to keep going, but I know it's 5. So I'm happy to stay on for people that had more questions, but also wanted to respect if anyone maybe wanted the gift card and then thought this ended at 5. So I want to just check in.
Okay, so let's give this is the final trivia question, and then we can keep talking for a couple minutes, and then we'll wrap it up. But we're getting towards the end. So we have many people that have been a part of the Film Challenge for a long time. I launched the Disability Film Challenge in what year? And see, this is a tricky question. It was actually launched in 2013, but 2014 was the first year of the challenge, first actual challenge. So 2013 is the winner, and who is that? Who do we got? Who says 2013 first? Mo. All right. Well, we got your we got it. Mo.
Cool.
All right. And now we got great job. And guys, thank you. You know, if anybody has any, I know they're looking for a new Jeopardy host. So if any of you guys on this chat, you got a connection, we know how to find my IMDb page now. So we can plug around here, you know, let's hit that discovery tool.
And for anyone that did have to go at 5, thank you so much for joining. And I'm going to keep going. Okay, so if you have a PBS broadcast credit, should you link to PBS or to your Vimeo channel? I don't know. I would say, I don't know. That's a great question. I would, you know, I don't have a good answer to that one. So I'd say whichever one is the one you want to be directing people to. If you think it'd be better to represent you by going to PBS, I would say that, or your Vimeo. It's up to you. Yeah, sorry, not a great answer, but I tried. Okay. Is IMDb compatible for screen reader software or low vision friendly? I'm not sure. I don't have an answer to that. I can look into that and try to provide an answer later, but I'm not sure about that. Untitled Shrek reboot. Yeah, don't ruin a good thing if it's not broke. I agree. More thank yous. You're welcome. Okay, now we're in the trivia. Let me see if there's any other questions. Oh yeah, Nick, there were a lot of answers to this. I was trying to keep my spot, but now I can see. Oh wow, there's a lot. Okay. All right.
We got a lot of people that are good at trivia here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that I got to say. When the world opens up, I feel like we need a trivia night. Film Challenge trivia here. We're gonna have all of us together here, and boom, Jed and me, we're gonna be working on our Jeopardy showcase.
Yes, we will. Okay, I found another question. Can you get IMDb credits for a film that was completed but isn't available publicly yet? Can social media posts from the set and a post allow it to be posted? So this is where there's in development titles. So if it's not released, you can get a credit. The credit will not show up on your imdb.com page until it is in post-production or is released. So here on the homepage, I'm going to go to pre-release titles. So Fast and Furious 10, oh, I got 10. That's a thing. So this is, okay, this probably won't be a great example because this probably has a public page because people are wild for Fast and Furious 10. I've actually never seen any of them. Okay, so let's go to Genghis Khan. This is just a page for something that is in development. So you can have a page created, or if it is created, you can still add to it. So you have to be an IMDb Pro member. It's the same process. So if you want to add that credit, it'll show up there. Then if someone is on your IMDb Pro page, they will see that credit. It just won't show up on imdb.com. So yes, you can. As for can social media posts from the set and a poster allow it to be posted? I think if you're on the poster, you can. I would be careful, just make sure that like, if the poster shouldn't be released yet, the team might add it to the page. So I'm just like, be aware. They're always trying to like get content. So be aware of that. I know sometimes they'll request, if you have like a call sheet, you can share a call sheet, and that'd be like, oh, I was on set, and then you can add that credit. So answer the question, yes, only on IMDb Pro for the in development titles that you have. All right, I think we're back into more trivia. Okay.
I think that was our last trivia question here, but the you know, unless we want one more, one more just for fun trivia here.
Sure.
And
I'll try to get. Do you have a trivia question?
I'm gonna come up with, this is the first year of the film challenge, the first ever.
Okay, I'm gonna get another gift card for you. So
who
I
was
do have to stop it there.
Okay, that's it. I mean, can we get a virtual round of applause? He may not hear it, but let's clap for Jed here. And
I make friends. I give out cards.
This is like Oprah. Everybody's getting a car here. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. All right. So round of applause virtually. Sophia, I love that you do that. Wave. Let's get a round of applause in the chat. All right. So the first ever winner of Best Film 2014. Who was the winner of the film, or what was that film title? This is going way back. First ever year, Best Film. And the one way for you to do this, you can go. Rachel Handler was Shashank. That's a trick question. Rachel Handler did win the first year, but Best Actor. She did not win Best Film. So Shashank, I mean, you're killing it, but close. So if you go to a little search, go to disabilityfilmchallenge.com, hit the challenge tab, past challenges, go down. And what was that? You could look at all those years and check those films out, the different genres, and see who was it. Hands down, Carl Hansen is hands down, hands up. All right, Carl Hansen wins that award and or that gift card. So thank you so much. And then Jed, if we have one more question or anything else beyond, or any other burning questions on.
There was a question, would there ever be a dark mode of IMDb Pro for us blind folks who can't handle so much white background? I think this is a great suggestion. I don't know if that is, if we have that, but I will definitely bring that to the team because we should. And then I think that's all the questions.
All right. Well, that is if that's all the questions, before we go, I'd also like to give a very special thanks on the Easter Seal side, Shelly and Narita working behind the scenes, as our Zoom captains and doing a lot of work with the registration. You're going to be getting a deck which explains all of this. So if you're like, I didn't take notes fast enough, or you're like me and you have to review things a bunch of times you're going to get that. And so look, the bottom line is, this is a great tool, and this is a way for us people with disabilities, we could be hired and we could get work and create opportunities for ourselves and find other talented people with disabilities out there. So let's all follow those steps, make sure we're marketable, make sure to throw our content up there, our films, our corrections. I cannot thank enough IMDb Pro for their support. For hosting films, creating film challenge pages, the awards page, everything you do, the social posts, and just creating the world more inclusive content and showcasing us also. Jed, very special thank you. This is your second year doing it, and I just feel like you do so much, and you're throwing in extra trivia for us here. You got a couple extra cards. This is
I'm a people pleaser. I'll find those cards.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. I can't wait till we all are in person together. We have a lot of other screenings, workshops, events. So make sure to follow us online. We're going to do a little screen grab shot here. Everyone, if you throw your camera on for 1 second, if you can, let's try to get a little, I'm going to try to
Let me unpin myself.
I'm gonna try to do a little selfie mode, with my own camera. This is, we're gonna see if it's possible. And let's just see. Ready? On the count of 3, smile. Hey! I'm trying to move my head so I get the full logo here. Let me see. Hey! All right, guys, because it's not a workshop if we don't take a picture, even if it's virtual. So I love you all, everybody. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your films. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you, Jed, IMDb Pro, IMDb, the Easter Seals team, all of you guys. And I just want to say, you all get cars. Oprah, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. All right. Bye,
Bye, everyone.
everybody.
Have a good night.